I think in the world with so many beautiful things and so many challenges, we constantly see different opportunities for solutions for the world's problems. But ultimately, I don't think there really is an answer except for this spiritual revolution that needs to happen from within. And this type of space is providing that space for us to look inwards, to change ourselves, one value, one virtue at a time, and to allow all of us to kind of grow like that. I think that's the medicine for our planet, So thank you, Danelle, thank you, Common Ground family, for being here for us. So I have a few moments to share with you guys today, and I wanted to share some stories as well as songs, because I feel like the songs are just a projection of, I think, values that we're all connected to. And the link between myself and Common Ground actually starts with a dear brother of mine and a dear brother and family member of the Common Ground. His name is Daniel Nahmad. And I'm sure, how many of you know Daniel? Yeah. So I wanted to share a story and link it back to Dan. It has to do when I moved to India. I moved there about 7 years ago, actually for business, but then actually I realized I wasn't happy in what I was doing and decided to close that down and serve. Mahatma Gandhi has this beautiful quote. He says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And I think that became a mantra for me in trying to find myself and trying to redefine how I wanted to use my time while I was here on this planet. And so I went to the Gandhi ashram in a city called Ahmedabad, where Mahatma Gandhi stayed after coming back from South Africa to India. And it became a chance for, not really that I was serving or helping anybody, but really became a chance for me to learn and relearn and unlearn. And so I decided to work with 16 kids. It took me about a year to find 16 children from underprivileged slum communities. And we decided to create a musical together. And so these 16 kids here, we spent, after I selected them, we spent about 2 years together, day in, day out, for about 4 to 5 hours every day. Like a family, truly like a family. Like they're mom and dads, I call my mom and dad. And these are families and kids that live within 6 feet by 8 feet homes in the slums. And as many of you might know or have heard of slum communities, they're very rugged and rough spaces. So there was a lot that I started learning from them. But before I could start learning, I had to shed a lot. And these are beautiful, beautiful kids. There are 8 boys and 8 girls. And then we had created this musical called Oneness. And spreading, we were thinking of this idea of how can we share Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. King's, Mother Teresa's, their message through a musical. And that's what we did. We went on this journey every day working towards creating this musical, but I think more importantly was just how are we changing ourselves through the process, through the journey. At that moment, somebody had shared Dan's album with me. And I stopped listening to music when I moved there because I just was kind of going on a cleanse, I think, from, I feel like, all the music I had been listening to and what I was used to and just the noise I felt like. So I'd gone on a cleanse. I was only listening to like Sufi music. And my friends in the Bay Area, I was visiting them, and when I left on the way to the airport, they were dropping me off and they gave me Daniel's Water album. And they played it in the car, and I was like, whoa. I listened to it. It became my album for 1 year. I didn't listen to anything else except for Dan's album. But the one song that really stuck with me was Planting Seeds, which you heard in that video. And it is connected to this idea that all along my journey, I always kind of felt, and we're conditioned to feel like when we do something, we deserve to get the results from it. It's our doing. And when we do it, then we should get whatever we deserve. And then after hearing this song, it started clicking with me when I was working with these kids, and I heard this concept of planting seeds, that, wow, I'm not doing anything. I'm just reaping the fruits that people like my mom and dad had planted years before. I'm getting the fruits of the seeds that were planted. Oh, wow. So what can I do? Oh, I can plant seeds for other people maybe. And then what happened with that song is it took it further for me. It's like, yeah, you can plant seeds, but then it's not yours to own, or you don't take credit for that. You just got to let it go. And that process, going in with that spirit, or trying to cultivate that spirit while working with these kids, became amazing. And I remember 2 incidents that kind of triggered both sides of this concept of planting seeds, but then being ready at any moment to let go. Planting seeds meaning doing our job, doing our bit, working our hardest that we can. Letting go meaning not being attached to how it ends up being. That's not in my control. And there was a point in the middle of our journey where I went for a 10-day meditation retreat, and I came back, and the whole dynamic of our kids and everything was just in a really bad space. They were all backstabbing against each other, not working with each other, just feeling a lot of negative energy. And I was told that by the other staff members when I got back. And I felt that energy, and we sat down in a room, and it was a big moment for me because I had invested about 2 years up to that point, just volunteering and offering my time and my life to work with these kids. And this is where it came up to me. It's like, wow, you have an opportunity to see how attached you are to your ego. And is this something you're trying to do for showing other people, or are you really committed to the purity of this process with these kids? And I dug up the courage enough to let the kids know that we don't have to do this. That it's okay. Whatever you guys want to do, we're doing it with this intention to work towards creating a musical, but more importantly, towards creating the values that this musical is about, to nurturing those values in ourselves. So it was a hard challenge to tell the kids that, hey, if you guys don't want to do this, it's okay. Because in the back of my head, I had this vision of where this all could go. That, oh, wow, we can tour and we can share this show with so many people, and we've already worked 2 years and people know about it, and all this stuff was already there. But the challenge was saying, wow, can you really just let it go and let it grow where it needs to? And I let it be in that space, and it was such a great learning experience. And the kids came back to me a week later. I said, let's take a week off. And they said, we really want to do this. And that became a turning point. So that capacity that God had allowed me to let go allowed it to all come back together. And then literally a year later, we were on tour around the world with these same kids. Whether you talk about the challenges of getting 20 visas, 25 visas for 2 different countries, or the fundraising, or all that stuff, the lesson that I learned is when you plant your seeds, and then with the intention, a pure intention, then whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And you're putting in your honest effort. And so this was just a blessing that we were able to share these kids and the message and the journey with the world in the US and the UK. But I think the deeper thing was, wow, like, can I actually continue to practice this idea that when we plant seeds, it's not up to us. We just got to keep cultivating, keep nurturing, and be ready to let go at any moment. Not that you're giving up, not that I'm giving up, but just that we're not trying to force to go in a certain direction. We're not trying to take credit that this is mine. So I really always thank Dan for, sparking that concept in my heart and in my mind. I feel it's so important for all of us, this idea of planting seeds. When I look at our kids, that we can't change them, but we can be the change. And in that sense, we're planting seeds in their heart of how to be. So I wanted to share this song, Planting Seeds, which many of you have heard. This is Dan's and I's remix. But I would love for all of us to sing it together. And I think you guys, a lot of you already know the lyrics. So we're bringing Dan in from Santa Ana. His spirit is here always. I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in, we plant the seeds then, we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around. Okay, so we can sing this together. Fun. 4, 3, 2. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing It's more. Like your whole life you've been training for this moment, and when the time comes you just disown it, meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and molding, sitting next to your path trying to unfold it, or waiting for the fruits to fall down towards you. Let it go and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous. You take steps away instead of towards it. What a rush, feeling freedom with nothing to hold. We've been taught that what you touch will always turn to gold, but now we're learning when we let it go it overflows. No credit to take, cause no credit is owned. A higher power working deeper when the seeds are sowed. When the seeds are true, they're seeds of gold. But the real gold is joy when life starts to flow. And when it does, you just smile, cause now you know. I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds, then we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around. So we're gonna sing the chorus 3 times together. You in? Yeah, here we go. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow. When it grows, it grows. Whatever dies will die. If it dies, it dies. Come on. When it works, it works. Yep. Let it fly, let it fly. Fails, it fails. Come on, let it soar. Last time. Whatever. Let it grow, let it grow. If it dies, it dies. Come on. And when it works, it works. Yep, let it fly, let it fly. When it fails, it fails. Come on, let it soar. We're planting seeds and nothing more. Thank you. Thank you for singing together. It's fun. I think one of the most beautiful seeds that we can plant are those of kindness. And I always think to myself, like, if we take all the religions of the world, all the spiritual teachings, and this thought comes to mind, if we put it all into a Vitamix blender and poured it out, I feel like the essence of everything is just being a kind human being. And to ourselves as well as to others. And to ourselves, I feel like sometimes we have a harder time in doing that. But there's this beautiful quote that Desmond Tutu, it's very simple, but this idea that small acts of kindness, actually, we can do that wherever we are, whoever we are, whatever we do, whatever our situation is. There's always a chance to do small little things of compassion for others and for ourselves. It's beautiful because this concept moves us away from we have to change the world to this idea that we just need to do the small parts, be a little gentler, be a little kinder in our own spaces. And that allows all 7.2 billion of us to do our thing. Do whatever we're doing, but just doing it in a more compassionate way. I wanted to share a story of a wonderful little sister of mine in India, Priyanka, and she was in that video as well. You heard her share some words. She has been teaching me what it means to be kind, just through her being. And she's a 14-year-old girl, now she's 15, grew up in an orphanage. Father is still in jail for murder. And so mother brought her up, but had to have her raised in an orphanage because she was always trying to just make way and take care of her and raise enough money. But she's an evolved soul, and we became very close. to the point where I remember like 3 years ago or so, my dad was like, "Hey, Nimo, I got a $200 donation for you from one of my friends." And it was perfect timing because then Priyanka and I were just getting closer, and I wanted to invite Priyanka to my city and to have her meet the community that I stay with, because it's a very humble and loving community. And I said, "Perfect timing, Dad. I'm going to fly Priyanka over." And we did that. Well, it was a challenge because she's never traveled by herself, one, or that her mom would let her go by herself, or any of, the teachers, school, everything. But it all worked out, and she had the courage to say, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'll travel by myself for the first time ever on a plane and come." And she did. And when she came with this teddy bear. Her teddy bear's name is Nia. And so I invited her because we were having a retreat, a 3-day retreat with about 40, 50 people from all over India and some from outside of India. All doers of good in their own ways. And so mainly adults. And Priyanka was the only little girl there. And so she would be sitting in these big circles with us with her teddy bear. And whenever she'd walk around the campus where the retreat was at, she would always hold her teddy bear, let people share it, and then bring it back. It was awesome because everyone got to see, like, it was such a beautiful child spirit with all of us that weekend. And I was scared in the beginning. I thought she wouldn't be comfortable. By the time she was supposed to leave and I had to drop her off at the airport on Sunday, she was hiding and didn't want to go. And she was literally hiding, not like a joking, like, "Okay, I'll hide for a minute and then I'll come out." Like, I had to really, really find her. And she was hidden behind like a big bus behind its tires. What moved me about Priyanka was a couple things. We were both speaking together at a conference a few weeks later. And after the conference, she comes up to me and she says, "Nimo Bhaiya." Bhaiya means big brother. She says, "Nimo Bhaiya, here's a gift for you." And she gives me her piggy bank. And I said, "Priyanka, I shake it and I realize it's her piggy bank. I said, "What's this, Priyanka? I don't want this." She looks me in the eye and she says, "You do something good for somebody else with it." And she walks away. And that, I still haven't used that piggy bank. I have it in my altar where I have all the gods of all the world and everything. It's just like it's a god to me, that gift that she gave me, the love that she has, the capacity that she has at this age to share, the wisdom she has. So it's a reminder. But the next day, something even more powerful happened. And I had to go back to my city. She was still in Bombay. She's part of a musical that I had connected to called Maya. And Nick, my brother that was in that, kind of everyone was laughing at when he was making his smart, funny little comments. He's an amazing soul. And he was directing a musical called Maya. So 30 kids from the slum communities, and they're creating a musical. Priyanka is one of them. These kids were in Bombay at that time during the conference, and that Sunday they were going to an old people's hospice in Bombay just to spend time with some elderly that were on their deathbed that don't have family. Priyanka calls me later in the week. She calls me on Wednesday or so, and she says, "Nimo Bhai, I wanted to talk to you. I'm kind of confused." And I said, "What happened, Priya?" She says, "Well, we went to this hospice on Sunday, and I was there with the old lady from South India, so we didn't speak the same language. India has so many different languages. So they didn't speak the same language, but she said, I was just holding her hand and hugging her and making her feel good and smile. And then I had this idea, let me go get her some chocolate. I have chocolate in my backpack." So she went outside. She got chocolate, and Nia, her teddy bear, was sitting there. So Nia will give her a hug, and that'll make her smile. So she grabbed chocolate, grabbed Nia. She went there, and she gave chocolate to the lady, and the lady started, opened up, and then she gave Nia to give her a hug, and then Priyanka noticed that this lady's eyes just opened up. What Priyanka gauged at that moment was that the lady thought that Priyanka was gifting her teddy bear. And Priyanka was sharing this, that once I saw how joyful she was, I didn't want to ask for it back. And the confusion she was sharing with me on the phone 3 days later is she's like, I feel guilty because I miss Nia. But she said, I'm so happy that I followed what my heart told me at that moment. And I think that's like the ultimate lesson in kindness that she was teaching. That when our heart tells us to do something, to just follow through on it. and you won't have any regrets. And I don't think she doesn't regret it at all. She feels so happy about it. At that moment as a 14-year-old, yes, she was feeling kind of sad and missing. But right now, as she looks back, she's just so happy that and this was a teddy bear she's had all her life pretty much. So this teddy bear is her new one that we gave her called Mia. But Nia was much dirtier. and so it was just a beautiful story, and she's an amazing soul. She just got accepted to a high school experience at a college for 11th and 12th grade in Italy. So she'll be going there in August. An amazing soul that has a compassion quotient that's so beautiful. So I just wanted to share that story because I wanted to share a song called Being Kind. And I really feel like this is the essence of it, that it's not a big thing. Now for her, she gave away 2 of her biggest prized possessions, material possessions, within 2 days. You know, and that's a big deal. But I think the lesson is like, wow, how do we even get close to practicing small little acts like this? You know, one small thing at a time. So I wanted to share this song. It's called Being Kind. And there's a part in the song that says, grab a friend and give a hug. So you can do that, and you can even grab a stranger and give a hug.
Well, my heart starts sinking and I'm thinking, what's the reason why we holding back from being kind? What's the disease? But then I sense we are fine. It'll all happen one small step at a time. When the world is full of violence and it needs a little kindness, I just sit and pray in silence, and God shows me the signs. Open my eyes, realize we are fine. One small act. Last night I'm walking home and the homeless man says hello with a smile to let me know that he's got a lot of hope. He says, have faith, young man, we are fine. The world is kind. One small act at a time. Small acts we do together, even though maybe alone, changes the world for the better, so we can call it home. And this is life as we know, when our hearts are aligned, the magic that unfolds. One small act at a time. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high. Let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go. Spreading kindness through every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. Soon enough, you and me will be out of time. Kindness will be all we can leave behind. Yeah, feeling grateful today. Never thought this day would come where I would feel it and say, each and every one of us have paved the way doing good, and now we're all just moving up. When I'm kind to you, you pay it forward. This is how we build trust. Never had faith, but now I'm seeing you eye to eye. Wanna give you my life, wanna spread love before I die. Thank you, God, for finally letting me realize when I serve man, I'm really serving you in disguise. Smiles everywhere, cause now everybody's got the bug. Ain't no life without the love. If it is, it ain't no fun. What we gonna do? Now just grab a friend and give a hug. Spread it out real wide so everyone can be touched. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high. Let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go. Spreading kindness through every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time. And kindness will be all we can leave behind. All we can leave behind. For you and I, kindness is all we can leave behind. All we can leave behind. For you and I, kindness all we can leave behind. Ooh, behind. When all is said and done, kindness is all we can leave behind. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high. Let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go. Spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time. And kindness will be all we can leave behind.
There's this photo of planet Earth, or this painting. It's this idea of seeing this planet from this perspective shifts a lot. And I know there was this one documentary and story of some astronauts that went up towards the moon, and everybody was so focused on the moon, and one of the astronauts turned around and looked backwards and saw the planet as it is, as this one piece, as this one kind of ball. And it just shifted his whole life. And from then on, his whole kind of journey was dedicated and committed to expressing how we are all just one. He didn't realize it until he's seen it from that perspective. And it's amazing sometimes that we lose perspective of us as human beings and the role that we play on this continuum, this timeline of planet Earth. Scientists have done this little kind of timeline, taking the Earth's history into account and plotting it on a one calendar year. So 365 days, 4.5 billion years plotted on 365 days, just to give us some perspective as to how we are. And some of the facts share that if you start with January 1st, midnight, when the planet emerged, whether you call it Big Bang or whatever the theory is, they say that in February is when single-celled organisms arrived. And then they skip about 10 months, which is about 4 billion years or something. And they say plants and fish arrived in November. And then they continue on saying December 20th is when dinosaurs arrived. Not even talking about human beings. We're not even part of this timeline. Then 60 million years later, dinosaurs went extinct, maybe December 26th. And the first records of human ancestry, humanoids, they say arrived at 11:45 p.m. on December 31st. And then they go on to say that human beings, in terms of recorded history now, with the intellect and capacity to record and share, came in the last 15 seconds of the year. And now we're here 15 seconds later. And the reason why, so there's different things that come with this image, this idea of, putting things in perspective. A lot of times we lose perspective, obviously, right? We get caught up in our own day, which is our right. We should be caught up in our own life. But how do we balance? How do we surf that? It's like we got to balance like doing us and being us and living within the present moment of who we are, and also realizing that it's okay, that we're all going to be leaving soon, that we were not here that long anyways, and that why not just do the best that we can while we're here. And so, this idea, and then the second idea, that wow, we are all just one family. And there's no better place than spaces like Common Ground that help bring us back to that reality. And it's a blessing. One of my dear brothers in Oakland, Pancho, from Mexico, originally did his PhD at Berkeley in astrophysics, but then realized his research was being used for nuclear warhead research by the government and UC Berkeley. So he quit and lost his student visa, but he wanted to stay connected to his values and his value system. His father's a a deep believer in Gandhiji, and Pancho is a big practitioner of nonviolence. A year ago, I was with him at a retreat, and he takes my plastic bottle away, and he says, he just doesn't say anything. He just grabs my plastic bottle, and he hands me this metal water bottle that I've had now for over a year. And I didn't say anything. I got it. Okay, Pancho, I won't use plastic bottles anymore. Thank you. But he's very conscious. He's very conscious at that level, at all levels of humanity. He calls everyone his brother and sister. You ask him, Pancho, somebody asks him, where are you from? He says, planet Earth. He doesn't give an address. So he's conscious at an extreme level where a lot of us may not, we don't have that capacity to keep on being at that level. But it's a great anchor to have, to remind us that, wow, okay. So he always carries this planet Earth flag. Now, since he's undocumented, he started an experiment in East Oakland, in Fruitvale, which is a gang-ridden area. He's created a space called Casa de Paz, Home of Peace, House of Peace. And it's an open home for community to enter. They do meditation twice a day there. They have an organic garden. They serve. They have a community gathering every Friday, meditation and serving dinner. And amazing. During Occupy Oakland, Pancho chose to go to Civic Center and pray. Him and Adelijah, our brother on the left. And little did they know that they would be arrested for disturbing the peace. That was what was written on his arrest document. But Pancho's the type of human being that, in response, he tells the police officer, "When I get out, I would love to treat you to lunch." And that's just the spirit he's coming from. This idea of nonviolence is not about just not fighting with somebody, but then deeper of not having negative thoughts towards people, but then deeper that people that might harm you, how do you love them even more? And Pancho is here practicing that, teaching us, wow. There was one time where he was in the BART and a couple gang members jumped him. Young gang members, but they jumped him, started beating him. And then his response was, "Brother, you don't have to do this." And they were shook. I think it's probably just from his own stillness and his own compassion that he had within him. And when they let go finally and started running, he started running after them. He says, "I just want to give you a hug." And that's what he's telling these guys. So Pancho's radical in his thoughts and his actions, but he's giving us some seeds to learn from, to think about. And so, the song I wanted to share is a song that I feel like somebody like Pancho helps really inspire. And the song is called "Keep Loving." And it's, for me, it was this idea of what does nonviolence mean? And at the essence, in the Gandhi ashram where I stay in India, nonviolence and truth, those were Gandhiji's two underlying virtues, the pillars of his journey. And I always wondered, why did he say nonviolence instead of love? Why not just say love? It's more direct, it's more clear. And I guess the thing that started coming more clear for me was that, it's not about love. We can't love actually until our mind is purified, until we don't have violence in our mind towards others, until we stop judging. And I feel like judgment has become the challenge. How do we get to a space where we're actually not judging? And so this song was more of that dedication. I feel like, again, Pancho is just one soul, but he represents this space of just this universal love, the space of non-judgment. So I wanted to share this song. It's called "Keep Loving." Whether you're different, same, ignorant or intelligent, whether you tell the truth, lie or embellish it,
Whether you live in gratitude or for the hell of it, it doesn't really matter, we're still one single fellowship. Whether you've been lustful or living celibate, whether you're an optimist or only see the negative, whether you're dead broke or rich from inheritance, it doesn't really matter, we're made of the same sediments. Whether you got a family or single parenting, or you're Asian, African, European or American, whether you pray to God or atheist is irrelevant, cause what you got inside is the same as all your brethren. It'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change your eyes. Everything you touch, everyone you see will soon become your family. Do you see yourself in the troubled and the homeless? Can you say everywhere you are is where your home is? Sharing your heart in the dark just like a lotus, letting your light shine bright so you can flow this everlasting love of grace like those did Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, Buddha, and Moses, who carried the weight of the world upon their shoulders. So every time you fall down, go ahead and hold this close to your heart, cause you're a love soldier, and every time you get a chance you pay it forward, moving closer to heaven's gates. We're all soaring because of you. Love is where we're headed towards. It'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change your eyes. Everything you touch, everyone you see will soon become your family. Oh, 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 oh. So keep loving, gotta keep on loving, gotta keep on sharing, gotta keep on trying, gotta keep on caring, gotta keep the light on through dark and despair, gotta spread the love where nobody cares. Gotta keep on loving, gotta keep on sharing, gotta keep on trying, gotta keep on caring, gotta keep the light on through dark and despair. So keep loving, it'll change your heart, it'll change your mind, and then you'll start to change your eyes. Everything you touch, everyone you see will soon become your family.
But I wanted to share a very fun and funny poster that I used to have in I remember having in my calculus class in high school, Mrs. Nolte's class, and it was really inspiring for me. It said, justification for a higher education, and then it had this mansion by the beach and all these amazing cars, and I truly was like inspired by this. And that, gave me the inspiration to study hard and work hard and go to an Ivy League school and then now become jobless. I don't know if that is what my dad wanted, but it's interesting how our definition of what a good life is, or what a successful life is, or what our dreams are, and how they keep evolving. And I think it's amazing because at any point in our lives, we can always look and keep on asking ourselves, am I living the way I want to live? If I had to leave today, or if I leave today, will I be satisfied with the way I have lived? Not that it has to be perfect, but can I just be satisfied that I tried my best, that I lived the way I wanted to live, that I made use of this magical experience, that somehow I was able to be one of the 100 billion people, human beings that has been on this planet Earth since its beginning, that I took advantage of that moment that I was given. And so I feel like the question is not about how successful we are or what success is, but can we keep reflecting and pushing ourselves to say, hey, am I living the way I want to live? Because I might go today, I might go next week or next year, decade from now, or whatever it might be. But will I feel satisfied with the way it was, with the way the journey unfolded? And sure, I may have made a lot of mistakes, or I may have done this or that, but starting today, can I try living the way that I want to live? Can I try living the way that today should be, so that at the end of the day I can be like, yeah, today was a good day. This is how I wanted it to be. This is how I wanted to use my time and my energy and my spirit while I was here. So to me, that's more of the question. And there was a song that I wrote called Graduation. And for me, it was more of a concept of constantly hearing graduation speeches in different spaces and venues. But it was about flying, about achieving success. And a lot of it had to do with material, saying that the material success would lead to the good life. And that you have to persevere and work hard. But this, I think this song for me was a new way of looking at it, which is how do I get success within? And what does that mean? And if I get that, that means every day will be like that, because that's then the lens that I'm living by. So I wanted to share this song. It's called Graduation. Even has that graduation feel. Have your eye on the goal, but then let it all go, for everything changes, as you will come to know. Every plan you make and every seed you sow is impermanent. Nothing is ever yours to own. Once you realize this, you will see the truth, that you never were the planter of your own fruits. But accept these gifts, even if you don't know from who, and kindly pay it forward to those behind you. Because ultimately, what we take will always disappear, but what we give will live on for years. So keep giving of your stuff and yourself until your ego has completely melted. Be wary of the impact you want to make. Instead, make sure you are impacted each day. Have your eye on the sky, but still see the ants, for the small things are the foundation of all that will last. We move on as time passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light. When we reach the top and we look back, I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied. Be careful not to accumulate too many things, because you might just end up with a pot full of greed, and doing likewise can also be deceiving. So I encourage you all to practice just being. Be still, be happy, be loving, be kind, be humble, be magical, be aware, but be blind. Don't judge, see the good in each and every soul. Use your mind when needed, but follow your heart even more. Also, don't forget to thank God every time you fail, because your journey from failure will be your legacy and tale. Remember to feed birds, hug trees, and bow to the sun until you and Mother Nature are one. The last thing is to be grateful for all of your gifts, for gratitude and suffering cannot coexist. Once you reach this space, every moment will be bliss, and this graduating class will mark our success. We move on as time passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light. When we reach the top and we look back, I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied. 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 We move on as time passes by. Let's just hope we move from darkness to light. When we reach the top and we look back, I hope you cry, filled with tears of joy, satisfied. Yeah. Thank you. These were just some humble offerings I wanted to offer, and I really appreciate you guys having me over. I think we went over time a little, but it's such a blessing again to be in the space that all of you are congregating weekly to keep cultivating the spirit that Common Ground represents, and the values that underlie all of this, because they're so universal, and it's our, goal and dream one step at a time that we keep building this type of family around the world, and just love warriors in our own small way, So thank you, Danelle. So much love. Daniel and I had the blessing to work together on another one, and it's called Grateful. Where is the song? Oh, there we go. So I want us to all sing together. It would be wonderful. And the chorus is very straightforward. It's all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. For it all. I think Tatum and Anjali might join me in the chorus singing. Yeah? Okay. And you guys could look that way so you can read it too. All right. So yes, please join along. And we're bringing Daniel back from Santa Ana. Man, he's commuting a lot today. On the chorus part, okay? Let's sing together. You're my life, you're my breath, you're a smile, you're my guest, you're the earth, you're the sun, you're the grass, you are love, you're my hands, you're a bug, you're my eyes, you're a hug, you're the light in the dark, you're the spark, you are fun, you're my mom, you are water, you're the stars, you're my daughter, you're my friend to the end, you're my dreams, you're my father, you're the ants on the ground, the miracles that surround, I'm feeling it all around, the hemisphere and the clouds, you're my pain, you're my sorrow, you're my hope for tomorrow, you're the strength when I'm hollow, you're the path that I follow, you're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize all that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all, for it all. You're the blessings every time I try to count. You're the lessons that I learn every time I turn around. You're the water when I'm burned every time I think I found everything I'm looking for. You're the sign saying stop to take a bow and keep moving forward and start looking towards your heart. It'll open all the doors and only then you'll start to hear the world singing chorus with your mind and heart. Aligned in purpose, everything will feel gorgeous. All that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. Every day I sit and pray, cause what I have is more than I deserve or could ever imagine. How do I give back to all of this magic and spread the love so everybody can have it? Doesn't matter if I'm rich or poor, if I got a family or if I'm all alone. Bad things happen, I can just complain and moan. There's a million things that I can be grateful for. So I lift up my hands now, and I open my heart, and my gratitude goes out to everything near and far. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and everything I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. You're the blessings that exist, the small things that are bliss, the gift to realize everything is a gift.